Alright, hello everyone, dragongamingkfgytoffical here. Today, we're looking at a semi-controversial video. It's on a subject based on BBC and Doki Literature Club, which is you'll understand what I mean when we get in the video, and I'm gonna do this so you can see it. Doki linked to 15-year-old teen suicide according to the news. By my main man, Brock Charles, July 15th. I'm gonna read this, hopefully, so that thing goes out a little more. I already watched like 6 minutes or something in the video originally. I should probably save it until I watch this with you guys. So that's why it's backwards. The ELC was recently linked to the suicide of 15-year-old teen news. However, the reporting on it was painfully one-sided. Let's look at an interview which stood at the forefront of the story, see if we can give a fair perspective on the situation. Playing Doki result in a 15-year-old teen committing suicide. Even though this was reported on a few weeks ago, as of recording the video, there hasn't been any follow-up on the investigation. And as far as I know, there still hasn't been any follow-up. This leads him to think that what he has to say in this video is very justified, as if the link wasn't drawn, it would make for an interesting segment. We're going to watch the original interview on this topic after we get done with this. But some higher profile YouTubers who played the game have also given their perspectives on the story. It may be a good idea to watch them so you have a broad understanding of this report. We need to talk about Doki by Biju Mike, which we may capture in this video, who knows. The Real Truth About Tanacon by PewDiePie, talks about Doki at 6:39. And here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. Do you think video games can cause people to commit suicide? Video game related deaths have been documented in the past, but they haven't been linked to so-called psychological deaths. What do you think? We're going to read some of these so I can give a couple of, let's put it this way. We're going to read a lot of this, just so you can comment. Then we're going to go watch this video. So that way, I'm giving you a little bit of information on this topic, and not just reacting to this video, and you have no clue what I'm referring to if you haven't watched somebody play the game or played the game yourself. He says he cut out a lot of fluff because it was fluff, and it didn't mean that it wasn't important. We're going to read this comment for further insight on this topic. The interview is quick to mention child committed suicide playing Doki, but doesn't seem to bring up other reports that mention the boy had played DLC 2 months prior to this tragic event. DLC is a game that can easily be completed in a couple of hours, so this is further evidence against it being a sole factor of what happened. There's not just one reason. That's basically what that's saying there. There's a lot of talk about the parents being at fault. I get how this could be a knee-jerk reaction to someone attacking someone you love, but we cannot just assume that his parents were not the best in the world. How do we know that they didn't shower this boy with thought they did take all the precautionary necessary to keep him safe from dangers to the world in general? This could be tied to the news report being across their child's game, but doesn't think of doing a simple Google search. I personally don't think it's fair to blame the parents in such a difficult time without any proof to back it up. As I mentioned with Matt Pat's recent Bendy theory, I stated something along the lines of this. Or was this along the lines of what I said? Question mark. I stated there's nothing bad about a theory as long as you have good evidence to back it up. So making a claim like, and this, now we know this is basically not true due to chapter 5, but I'm not even going to get too much in that. MatPat made a theory saying that, he made a claim essentially saying that Wally was indeed bendy, and put all these good evidence behind it, or what he thought was good evidence. When I went through it and I analyzed it, I stated, this is very invalid evidence because of this. This is invalid evidence. And I basically went on about that. And I did that along the other parts of the theory as well, but you get the idea. If you don't have any good proof to back your claim up, it's going to crash and burn. He's like, I personally don't think it's fair to blame somebody if you don't even have any proof to back it up. This topic naturally brings up the case of the boy suffering from a mental illness. Not all people with mental illnesses may consider committing suicide, so I'm not sure how fair that is to say. What if he was perfectly healthy, but for a lapse of judgment in a bad or accidental moment? Or, as the case with, and I am referring back to this game that it's referring to, in the game, Doki Doki Literature Club, and it is okay for me to spoil because there's a high chance I'm never going to be doing that on the channel, or showing gameplay of it on the channel, due to sensitivity and stuff like that. But what the game is that in Act 1, at the end of Act 1, our childhood friend in the game, Sayori, hangs herself in her bedroom, and we don't figure it out until, basically at the end of the school day. So at that point, we're too late to save her. But Monica mentions a joke about that. We're like, oh, Sayori! We just run out of school. We can't go find Sayori. Us being that she killed herself. Just leaving it like that. Now, in Act 3 of the game, where you're just there, Monica, the main character of the game, sort of, the co-president of Doki, which is a real part of the game. You can go ahead and she'll randomly start saying random statements to you, just randomly. Okay? And the thing is that one of these statements you can pull up are more details about Sayori's hanging. And it states that Sayori was up on a chair when... And Monica states that it could have been easier just to not fall off something. End it quickly. But Sayori was standing on a chair. She tied it up. She thought about her decision, backed off on it. But she slipped and... well, there she went. Yeah. So, that's pretty accidental on all that end. The investigation was held a while ago now at the time of publishing this video. I've been able to uncover the results. Perhaps someone in the UK might have kind of brief report on this on news and would like to share. Luckily, unfortunately, I'm not in the UK, so I can't say anything on that. Oops. If coverage on this stopped, it tells me that either the news got it wrong or the topic just became boring for them. I mentioned that Zimmerman is an expert on mental health, but he's actually more expert on suicide. Perhaps it's not cheapen the message of this video. The message in the video may be paradoxical considering the nature of how I'm delivering it, but please do consider it. News thrives off of forcing feelings and curiosity of people. I believe they have an important place in society, but not to cover stories in such misleading ways. Maybe an accountable news program is just a thing of dreams. And that is all of his stuff. Like that. He did edit this too, I think. Oh, I can't close it back up. So, this Scarlet Wolf 12 states that the news outlets should do more research on the topics before making claims and false claims like that one. She's heard of recent news where news outlets are claiming that Fortnite is making people aggressive, when in actuality it's more aggressive people taking their things, they're looking to play Fortnite and everything. And she pulls back to the point that U.S. President Donald Trump states that the media is an enemy of the American people and is fake news, except for quote-unquote Fox News. Alright, hopefully I gave you a little bit more background information, and we can get this done.
Was that of a 15-year-old boy who committed suicide. Hey, your prodigies. Recently, a topic that took over the news was that of a 15-year-old boy who committed suicide, allegedly after playing Doki Literature Club, and of course, the news has been on this bandwagon of attacking video games lately, so I figured I'd share my thoughts on this because some of the things that they said don't really seem very genuine. Also, there have been other YouTubers like Mike and PewDiePie who have covered these topics, and I have actually watched their videos already, so I'll try my best to remember points that they've brought up and present them in this video as well. But mostly I'm going to be going off the cuff of one major interview that was held that I thought didn't do too bad of a job of trying to give a balanced perspective on this story, but I'd say it was still pretty biased against the game. Of course, this is a really tragic event, so if you're very sensitive towards issues such as this, I probably would recommend that you don't watch this video, and also...
Yeah, if it's a sensitive subject to you, you should not watch this video.
So if you do care about playing Doki Literature Club, or if you're in the middle of playing it, there will be spoilers, because I'm not really going to hold anything back.
Morning. We're going to start this morning by talking about a free online game after police and a coroner.
Okay, so I was scrolling through the comments earlier, waiting for this thing to load a little bit, and somebody was making an argument that FNAF isn't free and keep Mystic Messenger out of your hands. Free online game. FNAF isn't free and Mystic Messenger isn't really a way to just leave that alone.
Have warned about the risks of it to children.
See, like straight off the bat, she mentions that Doki Literature Club is an online game, and I'm pretty sure we all agree that it's not an online game. To be real, I
think the fact that she's referring to here is we can get it off Steam, and we don't have to go out to the store or anything and buy it. It's not really an online game. We can head to an online site and download it and buy it. Well, technically we don't have to buy it. It's free, but yeah, there's that point there.
This is just a big misunderstanding that the news and newspapers are having with this game, because we all know it's a game that you can just play offline whenever you like. Also, she often mentions throughout this interview that there are risks associated with this game, but she doesn't really mention what those risks are, which makes me really skeptical of the point that they're trying to make. And I think that they're just being vague intentionally to link this tragic event with the video game and kind of just build that connection within their audience, which I'm guessing would normally be much older people who don't know about games like Doki Literature Club. It's interesting that she mentions the setting and the premise of the game here. It's a dating sim held in a high school, so that pretty much determines what the target audience of the game is straight off the bat. But we're gonna see that they think otherwise.
Things do turn sinister, with characters self-harming and killing.
She's going in and she's gonna go in, just talk about the game, and the background stuff is actually from the trailer. A lot of times in trailers, especially movie trailers, you don't want to give a lot of your movie or your game away. Bendy Chapter 5 is a good example. They didn't go ahead and explain good parts of the game, like the ending or something leading up to the ending or something like that. They didn't do that. You know, they kept it as vague and questionable as possible. And they tried to make sure it's convincing for you to get the game and stuff like that. Now, that strategy is different than Doki Doki's, where it covers itself up as a dating simulator, but 2 hours into the game is when all these self-harm and suicidal stuff happens. It comes off as a dating simulator, so does the trailer. It doesn't bring anything about the suicidal or self-harming effects.
Themselves. It's said to be suitable for players aged 13 or over.
The interesting part of what you just said there is she herself doesn't even know. It's said to be for people 13 years and over, but nowhere does it really say that, and it's pretty much just an assumption made.
Nowhere does in the game. I'm agreeing with Pod here. It really does not say that. It just says you agree to be over 13, and you know you're not very sensitive to that sort of stuff. And one of the warnings it states is this game is not for children or those who are easily disturbed. Easily disturbed being, self-harm and suicidal things. And children, 18-year-old girls are not what a 12-year-old needs to see. Or a 5-year-old, for that matter, to play a game like that. Especially at a young age, that's gonna really mess up the head.
It's on the age check, if you want to even call it that, at the beginning of the game.
In the first 4 months. An inquest will be held into the death of a 15-year-old called Ben Wormsley from Bury, whose father said the game dragged his son in. And
just for a bit of context behind this, basically all of the news organizations and newspapers are feeding off this story that this boy got lots of text messages from Doki Literature Club, but eventually all of these strange events and these disturbing messages that he was getting on his phone were linked back to another game for mobile called Mystic Messenger. And even with Mystic Messenger, diehard fans of the game have shown that the premise of the game is not really to be self-destructive, it's to be grateful and to appreciate the relationships that...
Yeah, that he's saying that, and the same concept applies with Doki Doki. It's not trying to be self-destructive. If it is, they have no control over it, but, it's basically, you get so attached to those characters, and then when they die or they self-harm themselves, it strikes a chord right in your heart. And especially with Sayori, you grow to, you start love her as much as you want, and everything like that, and then when she dies, just like that. It's like, if you weren't your best friend, just without too much sign, you undoubtedly went in there, the situation, you had zero clue what was going on, and you find out they killed themselves, It's like their best friend was doing that. That's basically what it basically gives you very relatable stuff in a dating simulator, and gives a psychological horror and a self-aware aspect to it.
You have. Now, I'm not sure how true that is because I haven't played the game, but I'm just going off what other diehard fans are saying about it.
a pre-inquest review is due to take place at 10 o'clock this morning in that case. Greater Manchester Police have said, "We believe this game is a risk to children."
Okay, it's not supposed to be for children or those who are easily disturbed. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to repeat that point, but yeah, the 15 by legal age is, you're a young adult there, and I'm not sure how this works in other countries, but like in the United States, 18, you can legally vote and everything like that. Legally try getting a job if you don't have a work permit or anything.
And young people, especially those that are emotionally vulnerable, and anyone with existing mental health concerns.
I wish you would specify what those risks were rather than just throw it up in the air and make us try and make our own connection. Of course they want us to associate the game with the suicide of this boy, but they don't say what the actual risks are.
Yeah.
The coroner has warned this is a psychological horror game with suicide as a main feature, and notes too, it does warn it's not suitable for children, however the graphics, etc. are clearly aimed at young people.
The interesting part about this is everybody knows that it's a psychological horror game. It's tagged that way on Steam, and it's been praised as one of the best horror games made by an independent developer. As for the appearance of the game being for children, I really don't agree with that. I think anybody who's a fan of anime wouldn't agree with that. There's anime like Fullmetal Alchemist, Death Note, and all of these other ones. You could even argue that...
Yeah. There's Pokemon, anime like Pokemon, and some other ones like that are aimed for kids, and then there's some that are highly sexual and stuff similar to it. You know, so, and he does state that right fine. You know, there are some animes that are not meant for children, and that game is supposed to be an anime type dating simulator. I know because I have played a dating simulator close to it. But that one was more based for adults, but, you know, that's beside the point.
The mainstream Gundam series is also mainly adult-oriented, so I think this is just a matter of these news people looking at Doki Doki Literature Club, seeing that it's in a cartoon form, not necessarily making that link to anime and Japanese culture, and just instantly clicking that with.
And I'm agreeing with him here. If I state anime, for a lot of young people, first thing that comes to mind is Pokemon. Yes, that is anime, and if I ask some young adults, I ask them stuff like that, they're probably going to say Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball Z, which I'm not sure how the Dragon Ball Z Super is, but, you know, that's beside the point. You know, I could state stuff like that and it comes straight to mind like that. That's probably the mindset they had, honestly.
Cartoons, because children watch cartoons in the morning, so it must be linked to cartoons, right? No, not necessarily.
We've contacted the game's creators, Team Salvato, but so far we haven't heard back. Here's the trailer for the game with that warning right at the start.
I find it interesting that they even show this. I'm pretty sure we've all seen the Doki Doki Literature Club intro, so I'm just gonna skip it.
Let's talk about this now with the news editor for the video game website Kotaku UK, Laura Dale. Also mum of two and casual gamer Helen Ground. She has played Doki Doki and is a fan. And Lorna Fraser is here from the suicide prevention charity Samaritans. Welcome all of you. Thank you very much for coming on the programme.
I quite like the balance of the guests in this interview. We have somebody who represents the gaming community. We have somebody who represents parents and is, I guess, an expert on parenting. Then we have an expert on mental illness, which gives a pretty balanced approach across all of the topics involved in this.
Yeah, as I was mentioning when we were reading through that, he stated, you know, he was more of he's just kind of more of a expert on suicide more than mental illness, but
Story.
Laura, describe the premise.
So the basic premise of the game is that it starts off like a dating sim, as you'd said, that you go to this literature club, try and make friends with all these different girls, and it sort of subverts the expectations of that genre by becoming a horror narrative. A little bit of spoilers for the game. One of the characters, as it turns out, is not happy that you're dating the other video game characters, and she manipulates events so that other characters will commit suicide and will sort of drive you towards dating her instead.
alright, so what the first character they're referring to is Monica, the club president. And yeah, that's right.
And what's your reaction to this warning from the coroner and Greater Manchester Police about the risks to children and those who are vulnerable?
I think that, honestly, it's the same as the risks of any piece of media that deals with these kind of themes, be it video games or movies or books. If you have someone who is already in an emotionally vulnerable state, and you have them engaging with media that tackles these difficult themes, and they don't have an outlet to talk about that properly, that can be a problem. I think that a lot of it does just come down to communication and making sure that if you've got a child who is already struggling with those themes.
Alright, so I'm gonna stop her there. As they were talking about a 15-year-old boy, teenagers really don't want to talk to their parents. I'm telling you that from a personal perspective there. We like keeping a lot of stuff to ourselves. So, for some of you people that are younger, expect that to happen to you. You really don't want too much interaction with parents. And your parents will definitely know because they were teenagers themselves once. So, and a lot of people are normally just keep it inside. And that's not really what they need to. And current situation I've got, nothing related to this. I don't have much time to talk down to the counselor, and if I do, I don't remember to do it. That could also be a big factor into all this.
that you're aware of what kind of media they're engaging with.
I totally agree with this. It's a completely multifaceted and immense topic to be talking about. If you think very deeply about this, what can a video game really do to incite somebody to take such a serious action such as this in the real world? Unless you're talking about an ARG game where people deliberately try and solve things by looking at clues in the real world. Even those are usually very safe and they don't involve harming anybody, especially oneself. I really like how the blue-haired lady mentioned that.
Oh, and I've got that working for me. But basically what he's stating, there are 4 girls in the literature club. I'm giving you background information while this thing's buffering. There are 4 girls in the literature club. Which order should I mention them?
Of any piece of media that deals with these kind of themes, be it
Yuri, which is one of the self-harming, Natsuki, which is dealing with child abuse and neglect, and then Sayori, who's dealing with depression. And Monica is the self-aware one and tries to basically, how do I put this kindly? Yeah. Only thing. Well, that's unfortunate. But the whole idea of this is
video games or movies or books. If you have someone who is already in an emotionally vulnerable state and you have them engaging with media that tackles these difficult themes and they don't have an outlet to talk about that properly, that can be a problem. I think that a lot of it does just come down to communication and making sure that if you've got a child who is already struggling with those themes, that you're aware of what kind of media they're engaging with.
I totally agree with this.
Yeah.
It's a completely multifaceted and immense topic to be talking about. If you think very deeply about this, what can a video game really do to incite somebody to take such a serious action such as this in the real world? Unless you're talking about an ARG game where people deliberately try and solve things by looking at clues in the real world. Even those are usually very safe and they don't involve harming anybody, especially oneself. I really like how the blue-haired lady mentioned that one character in particular manipulates the other ones. She's obviously talking about Monica manipulating the code, causing the other characters to behave differently and take really serious actions that eventually end some of their lives. In that respect, you could even say that Monica was the murderer in the game, rather than the characters murdering themselves.
Helen, you've got 2 children, younger children.
especially young children, if you've got somebody like that, if you've grown up yourself playing these type of games, you have had a child who's grown up playing these type of games, I don't see why 2 young children would necessarily be a very reputable source for this type of stuff. Yes, parenting, and you've done it more than once, but doing that type of stuff is not necessarily, I could say I've played Minecraft, I've played Roblox, I've watched somebody play game, I've played a bunch of games. I've played Minecraft, I've played Minecraft Story Mode, I've played The Sims, I've played so many other games. Like My Sims, the series My Sims, or anything like that. Which, speaking of which, if I can find a version of the series My Sims, it's nothing like The Sims, but that sort of stuff, I'm gonna put it on here. So, a side note, but you would not think of me as a source to review something that I'm not known for playing, If I'm known for playing kid-friendly games, and I've not stated that I play adult-themed games or stuff like that on my free time when I'm not recording, then how are you supposed to trust me if I make a review on a adult-themed game? Or, I'm a gamer, okay, but I make an article about the health effects of, what is it? Dang it. So, a article about diabetes, okay? post article that diabetes, I've read it up and everything. I've checked it. I've made sure my facts right and everything. I've cited my sources, but I'm not very credible when it comes to that field. I'm a gamer. I'm somebody who creates content for YouTube.
This game is said to be suitable.
Said to be suitable. Okay. What the whole rant I was going about is you're not gonna state that someone's very credible in that type of stuff if they've not went through something like that themselves. And her statement there is the game states it's suitable for children. No, not really. It states that it's not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Pay attention a little bit next time. It also states that if you have anxiety or depression, you may not have a safe experience playing this game. So, there's another one that they forget to mention. And Prod mentions that, their stuff like that is not really what they should be doing.
13 and up, and that's because it asks you to tick if you are 13.
It basically starts saying, you're 13 and up.
Oriented. So I think this is just a matter of these news people looking at Doki Doki Literature Club, saying that it's in a cartoon form, not necessarily making that link to anime and Japanese culture, and just instantly clicking that with cartoons, because children watch cartoons in the morning, so it must be linked to cartoons, right? No, not necessarily.
We contacted the game's creators, Team Salvato.
They said they contacted the team, and I can tell you this on a personal level. I'm trying to contact Bendy's creators, like Rooster Teeth, JoJo Studios, Conway Base. If I try talking to them, there are chances that they will never get back with me. Alright? And if I'm a game creator, and okay, I'm gonna set myself a couple years in the future, okay? Let's assume I've got 500,000 subscribers. And you all are sending me emails, and you want me all to reply to your comments, and heart your comments if I like them, and all that. And you're all sending me emails, that sort of stuff. It's not very guaranteed I will do that. Plus, probably about that time, I'll probably turn off my comment notifications. So, that probably decrease my chance of doing that. So, and I feel as if, and I'm going to pick on Starfuzz here, because you all know that I'm known for doing that. She's got like 1.12 type of subscribers. Gonna hit save too and keep this for later. That way we can continue in another section. So this will basically be split up into parts, but I think she's got like I think it's 1.2 thousand subscribers, something like that. So after this shows up, and I'm sorry about the really slow internet. That's gotten on my nerves a little bit too, but basically, I'm going back to the credibility thing. If I am like frick. Oh, that's not gonna work. That's not what I'm gonna look for. That's when I'm uploading my video, which is just wow. Hello. Because the internet here is just plain terrible. Let's search up Starfuzz and see if it comes up. It'll probably take less time doing that than it will anywhere else. But you wouldn't expect me to be credible on films because, like, if you're expecting me to do a professional film review, chances are I'm not going to be able to do that. Now, I've got background music. I know it should be something good music. Now, I'm going to clarify that a little bit. I don't necessarily have a degree in music, but I go through music as my choir, and I know chords. I know every note on the scale, sort of, on the staff and everything. And I know stuff that piano stuff. Now, if I was to make a video or a article about how singing could change your brain, that type of stuff, or making an article about how piano works. Now, knowing all that, and I've been through a piano class, that sort of stuff, chances are you would say, oh, okay, this dude's he's experimenting with the piano, he knows how it works, and he's just trying to teach his knowledge to everybody else. I'm not going to be very credible, obviously, because I don't have a degree in music right now, but that's a whole different story compared to if I'm a dad of like 5 kids and none of them have been through something like Doki Doki, And as I mentioned before, teens don't really like talking to their parents. Hopefully that'll work. But you guys need to remind me to come back to this, or look at the thing for Bijou Mike, because he explains a lot of good stuff in there, and I can tell you myself, I could go through a whole entire DLC in a nutshell, but it's not going to give you 4 things. And sorry about that. I'm a little tired. 7, 8 or something tonight. But yeah. But I could go. If I don't know how to, I'm going back to credibility examples here, but I don't know anything about coding. I don't know what really goes into coding. I don't know how much experience it really needs to make a good coded game. But if I make a article on that, am I very credible? Keep that in mind. Also, let me know your thoughts on this whole situation in the comments below, and tell me what your thoughts are on it. I'd love to know. It can help me out on my AP research thing, and it helps everybody else that looks, Also, do you guys want a part 2 to that? Because my internet's terrible and I couldn't do the whole thing. So, I will, see you in the next video, I guess. And, instead of sticking around, stay beautiful.